Are you a career-driven woman who is currently in the dilemma of asking yourself, should I go back to school or should I start that business? You've been in between going back and forth and still cannot make a final decision of what to do. Well, I was in the similar position a few years ago. So in this video, I'm going to help you to discover, to choose, to identify which path is right for you in this season. Are you ready for it? Let's get into it. So the first thing to consider is, what is your long-term goal? What is your plan? Where do you see yourself in the next 5, 10 years? What kind of lifestyle are you desiring at that time in life? So that's the first thing I did when I was stuck in this dilemma. Now, you might say, okay, I want to be the director of my organization. I want to climb up the corporate ladder. Management is my thing. Then, if that's the case, then I would advise for you, yes, go ahead, go do the master's, go do the PhD, because that is your desire, right? A few other things to ask yourself in regards to going back to school, choosing the going back to school route, is to identify what area or what industry do you want to be in. So, yes, you did your assessment, you identify your long-term goals, you identify the lifestyle that you want to create. Now, what industry do you want to be in? So, for example, if you're a nurse like myself, while I was exploring these options, I didn't want to go get my master's. I didn't want to go get my PhD because I wanted a career path or a lifestyle that offers freedom and flexibility for me, right? So I started to explore options outside of nursing. So for me, going back to school was just to get a certification, right? It wasn't that long-term commitment of going back to get my nurse practitioner, my master's in nurse practitioner, master's in public health, or one of those areas. While that might be the case for you, you might decide that, okay, I want to establish a business in nursing or whatever field that you are currently in. And that business, I will need a master's or a PhD because I'll be working independently as an independent contractor. So you want to establish a business as a nurse practitioner, mental health nurse practitioner, general nurse practitioner. You want to do those things, right? So those things might require further education. On the other hand, there are several other business options that do not require for you to go back to school to get a master's or a PhD. You might choose to open a group home. You might choose to open a staffing agency. You might choose to do other things. You might choose to start up a YouTube channel, right? You might choose to go be a realtor or a mortgage agent or a loans officer, right? One of those other industries that will give you that freedom and that flexibility that you desire, right? So rather than making that big investment of that lump sum of money to get a master's or a PhD, you might think about it and say, okay, I'd rather get a certificate as a real estate agent, a certificate as a in notary public, or a certificate in as a loans officer, right? So with that big broad assessment and seeing what area will give you that freedom and that flexibility, the kind of lifestyle that you desire, then now you explore options, right? Are you getting it? Let me know in the comments if that makes sense. Comment below, makes sense right now. The other question to ask yourself if you're going back to school route, right? Do you have the time to invest in going back to school? Now, you might be working full time, you're a mom, you're a wife, you have a full time job, and right now might not be the ideal time for you to go back to school. Because we know writing those papers, doing those master's programs takes a lot of time, not only money, but time. So these are factors to ask yourself. Are you currently in that position where you have some time, some rooming available to go back to school? Can you go back to school part-time? Can you go back to school doing it online, right? There are several schools, universities now that offers online programs. So online might be a better option for you. For example, again, when I was in the same pathway, I assessed and I looked into careers outside of nursing, and I decided that I want to be a real estate agent. Now, that was a certificate program with the maximum time of 2 years, but you go at your own pace because it was an online program. Now, the money, it was far less than an investment to do a master's program. The application was it was hassle free to apply to get approved, far less investment, far less hassle to apply, and I could do it in my own time at my own pace. So that's an example of other options that you might want to choose if you're going to the school route, right? Now, this might maybe be you're switching careers or you're transitioning from one career to the next. So going back to school gives you that opportunity to create options so that in the long term, you can achieve that goal of having that freedom, that fulfillment, and that flexibility, being your own boss. Got it? If you're liking this video, let me know by hitting the like button. And also, if you have not yet joined this family of thriving women, please go ahead and subscribe. While you're at it, hit the notification button so you'll see my next videos to come. So now, on the other hand, now you're thinking, okay, I don't want to go back to school. I want to just go straight into launching a business. No, let's look at the launching a business, whether that may be starting up as a side hustle. And I've created several videos. You can look at this one right here that I recently did on how you can start a business while you're working full time. And I'll be doing several more of these video series throughout this month. So I'm sure you don't want to miss those other videos to come, right? So go ahead and subscribe. What business idea do you have in mind? So you have to think about it. Think about it. So you're not going back to school, but do you have a plan to start a business? What is it? What kind of business are you interested in starting? So start exploring, start doing your research, start identifying problems out there that you can solve, because business is typically a problem solving, right? So explore your skills, your gifts, your talents, your knowledge, and to see what aligns with a business opportunity out there for you to start. I did a video previously on how you can monetize your skills, gifts, and expertise. I'll put it in the description so you can go ahead and watch that video after watching that one. And that will help you to explore and to brainstorm ideas, business ideas for you to start off with. The next thing that you want to ask yourself when it comes on to business, do you have the mindset of entrepreneurship? Can you function being your own boss? We know we're working full time with organizations, right? And they are the boss. They tell us what to do, how to do it, when to do it. But there is a flip side of stepping into entrepreneurship, of you doing the things that you need to do to make that money, to make that income. When it comes on to entrepreneurship, you have to be wearing several different hats, especially in the beginning stage of your entrepreneurship journey. You have to be recording your video, editing your videos, marketing, promoting, meeting people, selling stuff. If you're interested in becoming a real estate agent, I also did a recent video on things I didn't know actually before being a real estate agent, right? And that involves several of these things that I'm talking about right now, because I'm my own boss, right? This is stepping into entrepreneurship, being a solopreneur, right? So these are some of the questions that you need to ask. Compare the pros and the cons of both, right? Do you have the mindset to go back to school at this time in your life, to go through all those papers at this time in your life? You might have young kids in school looking for your attention, looking for your help, especially at evening times, right? But as a matter of fact, both of them, because if you're going to start a business, it also takes time. If you're going to go back to school, it also takes time. So you right now have to choose your battle. You have to choose your hard, right? Because none of them is easy. Whichever one you choose, neither of them is easy. But you have to know what aligns with your lifestyle, what aligns with your long-term goals, and then from there, you will be able to make decisions. Did this video help you any at all? And let me know which one you will be choosing, starting a business or going back to school. As I said, both comes with pros and cons, and both are exciting new chapters, new journey in your life. But just think about it, and I'm sure that at the end, you will do just fine with either of them. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye for now.